All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's workshop, Resiliency, How to Cope with Rejections During Your Job Search. My name is Megan Jablanowski. I am a master's level intern with Counseling Services, and I'll be taking you through our workshop today. So, searching, applying, and interviewing for a new job can be tough. There are many aspects that contribute to the process of finding a job, but here are four just to name a few, such as creating or updating your resume, searching for job openings that fit your wants, needs, and skill set, scheduling and attending those interviews, coping with not receiving an offer for a job that you really hoped you would get. In this workshop, we'll be focusing on the last bullet point, coping with rejection during your job search, and what it means to be resilient in the face of that rejection. So coping with rejection is hard, but what can we do to manage it? One thing that we can do is create SMART goals. And SMART goals stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound goals. By applying SMART goals, this helps to let us know that what we're working towards is within our abilities and has personal value. And in this case, it's going to be finding a job that's right for you. It's also really important to take care of yourself during this process. Perseverance and resiliency requires a lot of energy and effort. So we're going to go over different coping skills and ways that you can take care of yourself in the coming slides. It's also important to acknowledge that rejection and failure is a natural outcome of trying. While we're not going to always experience that every time that we set out towards a goal, it is, like I said, just a natural outcome of trying and reframing how we're looking at that situation, of acknowledging, like, is this really failure, or is this just something that I can learn from, and kind of just, like I said, taking a look at that situation, reframing how we're looking at it, and focusing on the positive aspects that we have control over moving forward. So here's a nice little infographic for those SMART goals that we just talked about on the other slide. So the specific, what do you want to do? That first step in defining your goal. Measurable, how will you know when you've reached that goal? Achievable, is it in your power to accomplish it? Realistic, can you realistically achieve it? And timely, when exactly do you want to accomplish it? This one is particularly important, especially if you're like me and can kind of put things off, not necessarily procrastination, but just say, oh, I'll get to that, eventually. By putting a timeline and a date on it of, okay, I'm going to reach this goal at this time, can really help push us towards working towards that goal. So coping skills, we talked a little bit about these in the beginning, but in order to cope with rejection or any big life event, whether it's positive or negative, we must first identify our coping skills. So my question for you guys, and feel free to use the chat box, what do your coping skills look like? What do you do when faced with rejection or a big life event? I'll give you guys some time to answer in the chat box. All right, I see deep breathing. That's a great coping skill. Listen to music, exercise, focus on what went well. I love that. That goes back to the reframing and taking a look at those positives, things that we can use going forward. But absolutely, listening to music, exercise, deep breathing, focusing on what went well, those are all great. So in the next slide, we're going to go over why coping skills are important and some different examples of ways to cope with rejection and stress. So what are coping skills? You guys just gave me a couple of examples of what those look like for you, but coping skills help you tolerate, minimize, and deal with stressful situations in life. And coping skills look different from person to person. For example, I saw listen to music and exercise, but I also saw deep breathing in there. So what works for one person isn't necessarily the first coping skill that another person is going to utilize. And not all coping skills are created equally. There are healthy and unhealthy coping skills. So my question for you guys is, what do healthy coping skills look like? And what's maybe an example of unhealthy coping skills? Well, I'll give you guys some examples. Okay, perfect. Unhealthy, beating yourself up. Absolutely. Healthy coping skills, talking to a support system, journaling. I love all of those. But absolutely, the unhealthy of beating yourself up, focusing on the negative, absolutely, that is definitely what we could consider an unhealthy coping skill. Some other ones that just came up: smoking, self destructive behavior as unhealthy, absolutely. So it's important to take a look at our coping skills and, figure out, okay, what of my coping skills are healthy and which ones maybe aren't the best for me? And what can I do to mitigate utilizing those unhealthy coping skills or get rid of them altogether and incorporate some healthy coping skills to replace them? I see another unhealthy example in the chat box: negative self talk. Absolutely. This goes back to that reframing that I keep bringing up because it's so important. But when we engage in negative self talk, well, maybe it's a way to get like our frustrations out or our feelings out. When we get engaged in it for too long or just at all, it really brings us down more than lifts us up. It doesn't help motivate us to reach whatever goal we have set for ourselves. Thank you all for your feedback in the chat box. I appreciate it. So it's important to note that there's different types of coping skills apart from unhealthy and healthy coping skills. So when we talk about healthy coping skills, there are two different categories for us to focus on. First, there's emotion focused coping skills, and then there's problem focused coping skills. So emotion focused coping skills are most helpful when you need to take care of your feelings and when you either don't want to or can't change your situation. So this can look like engaging in a hobby, exercising, listening to music, maybe using a relaxation app. I listed two of my favorites right there, such as the Calm app and Headspace. Um, there are a lot of really free or really wonderful free options on YouTube as well for guided meditation, or just if you are the type of person that likes to listen to nature sounds. YouTube has a lot of really great free resources there as well. And then those problem focused coping skills. So these are most helpful when you need to change your situation. This can be done by removing a stressful thing in your life, for example. So this can look like asking for support from a friend or a professional, such as counseling services or career and transfer services. We are absolutely here to help you. Creating a to-do list, establishing healthy boundaries, and engaging in time management. So after kind of going through both of those, what kind of coping skills do you use most often? Emotion focused or problem focused? Right, we've got a vote for emotion focused, another emotion focus, sometimes both. Emotion focused, absolutely. I think it's important, yeah, to definitely note sometimes both. There's going to be times in our life where emotion focus are going to be the kind of coping skills that we use maybe more regularly, or the only coping skills that we can use at the time because we can't change our situation. Whereas problem focus is going to come up when we do have that control, when we can engage in, fixing whatever came up. So absolutely. Thanks so much for your feedback, guys. So here's where that reframing comes in and again. So acknowledge and reframe. Rejection can often leave us questioning ourselves and our own abilities. So engaging in reframing, by reframing that rejection as an opportunity for growth, can be helpful when processing a tough situation. I like this little picture on the right-hand side of your thoughts matter, going back to that negative self-talk that someone mentioned in the chat box. So instead of saying, I'm a mess, focusing on, I'm human, these things happen. Or when we say, I can't do this, telling ourselves, you know what, I can do hard things. And here are some examples of times that I was able to overcome a difficult situation. And a really big one that I hear a lot is, I'm a failure. And instead, turning that around to say, you know what, I'm learning. What are some positives that I got out of this situation? What can I take away from my experience with this to either learn something new or try something different the next time around? So it's important to ask yourself some questions. How could I do better next time? And is there someone I can reach out to advice or support? Also, don't fixate on the should've, would've, could've. Take some time to talk with a close friend or family member, or make an appointment with career services to talk about how you're feeling, receive support, and create a game plan for your next interview. Of course, we are also here at Counseling Services to chat with you as well. So how can Career and Transfer Services help? So they offer a ton of really great resources, such as career and major exploration, resume building and review. I know the link is a little hard to see right there, but you can find them at www.owens.edu/career/resume. They can help you with cover letters, networking, job search strategies. They can help you with interview skills and set up mock interviews for you to practice those skills as well. Help with jobbers and negotiations, student employment and federal work study, as well as transfer planning. We're moving kind of into just general information on how you can find career and transfer services. So their hours are listed here. You can also check out their website for spring break hours and weekend availability. I know we're already past spring break, but absolutely check out their website for updated hours. You can set up an appointment with them by email, phone, or through their online appointment form. And those resources are listed here. Online appointment form, or the online appointment form, can be found on the Career and Transfer Services website. And then counseling services. So we are open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We are offering both Zoom appointments and in-person appointments. We just ask that if you are coming for an in-person appointment, that you adhere to the COVID policies as set by the college. So that's wearing a face mask, practicing social distancing, all of those guidelines. You can absolutely contact us at counselingservices@owens.edu, or give us a call at our phone number in order to schedule an appointment. You can find us on the Owens website at www.owens.edu/counseling/contact. And yeah, that is it for our workshop today, guys. Thank you so much for being so engaged and answering my questions and just attending and being here today to learn some of this really valuable information. It was so great to have the opportunity to chat with you guys.